Hey, what's up guys? It's Exmo talking to you here. And today I want to talk about the iPhone 12 Pro Max. Yes, the iPhone 12 Pro Max. This is an amazing phone still. And I want to talk about it today. Why you should buy the iPhone 12 Pro Max in 2022 and is it worth it to buy in 2022? Yes, this phone is 1 year and a half now. We are mid-cycle of the iPhone 13s. We are getting closer and closer to September when the iPhone 14 launches, and we have ton of new information and leaks for the iPhone 14. But today I want to talk about the iPhone 12 Pro Max and why still in 2022 is an amazing phone. If you have one, be happy with it, be content, because this is still an amazing and powerful phone, and I don't think you should upgrade from the iPhone 12 Pro Max to the iPhone 13 Pro Max except one or two situations, mainly being the 120 Hz. But I do think still this is an amazing phone. It's still 90% of what the iPhone 13 Pro Max is, and it costs maybe $200-300 less. So yes, I do think it's still very worth it to talk about it in 2022. And now that we are halfway to the cycle of the iPhone 13 Pro Max, these phones are getting way cheaper, and they are going for around $850 in a very good condition. And if you can find one with 90%, 95% battery life, then it's an amazing deal. So in this video, I want to talk about everything about this phone: camera quality, battery life, still in 2022. And this phone, when I bought it, was on September or October of the launch, which was 2020. So yes, this phone is from 2020, October. I have been using it for 1 year and a half, and I have some thoughts. So let's see what happens. And of course, I will tell you all about it, since the battery life, display, cameras, and of course speakers, and how it's holding in 2022, and should you buy one in 2022. So no further ado, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate your support. So roll the intro. As you know, the iPhone 12 Pro Max was launched on October from 2020, and the iPhone 12 Pro Max was the biggest phone at the time from Apple, and still is. It still features the same 6.7-inch XDR display. It's very good, like it's very good, and I still really appreciate this display. The one downside to this display, it's the promotion, but I will talk about that later. First, I want to talk about the design. The iPhone 12 Pro Max was a redesign, to say the least. Yes, it was the first phone ever on Apple to introduce the squared off sides since the iPhone 5S. Yes, it was the first time I actually bought the iPhone 12 Pro and used the iPhone 12 Pro, not the iPhone 12 Pro Max. This phone is actually for my mom, because at the time I thought the iPhone 12 Pro was better, so I gave the 12 Pro Max to my mom. But then after she used it for a few months, and I start using her phone to take photos sometimes, and I started to realize, well, I like this phone to act better. Then when the iPhone 13 Pro Max was released, I bought it right away and sold my iPhone 12 Pro. Yes, since then I'm in love with the max size, and I won't go back anytime soon. So yes, the iPhone 12 Pro Max features the same design as the iPhone 13 Pro Max, and it was the first time that Apple introduced it. It was revolutionary, and actually when holding this phone closer to the iPhone 13 Pro Max, it's actually lighter, thinner, and it feels substantially less voluminous than the iPhone 13 Pro Max, which is actually quite weird. But yes, it feels better in the hand just because it's a little bit thinner, easier to hold, while the iPhone 13 Pro Max is big, bulky when compared to this phone. Of course, it might be because of the camera bump. The camera bump on this phone is a lot smaller because the cameras are not as good. At the end of the day, I would trade my smaller camera bump for better cameras, so that's what I did for the iPhone 13 Pro Max. The iPhone 13 Pro Max camera bump is so huge compared to the iPhone 12 Pro Max. It's just ridiculous. And if you do compare the iPhone 12 Pro against the iPhone 13 Pro Max's camera bump, it's just even more ridiculous, because if you do that, well, it's the same camera bump as the iPhone 13 Pro, so you will get the same impression as you were if you compare those two phones. So yes, Apple increased the size of the bump very much this year, and next year with the iPhone 14 they will do the same. So I will buy one and I will show you how ridiculous it is. But the iPhone 12 Pro Max in 2022, it's still an amazing design. It's still the most recent design, to say the least, and so if you buy one, you will feel like you have the most recent phones, and everyone will look at you and say, that's one of the most recent iPhones. So in terms of that feeling, that premium feeling, that design feeling that you have the newest phone, the iPhone 12 Pro Max can guarantee you that for less money than the iPhone 13 Pro Max. And of course, it looks amazing in this space gray color. or graphite like Apple says. I like this color a lot. Actually, I did not buy it at the time. At the time I bought the Pacific Blue. I thought I like it, but after a few months I got tired of it, and this color was way more pleasing to me. But now that I have Sierra Blue, I do think that's even more beautiful. But Mad Apple released the green, the forest green, or I don't know, midnight green or Pacific green, I don't know how they call it. It's just ridiculous. That's my favorite color ever. I like it so much. It was my favorite color on the iPhone 11 Pro, and now on the iPhone 13 Pro Max. It's just insanely cool. I have to settle with my iPhone Sierra Blue, but if I could, I would get the green one. Of course, this iPhone 12 Pro Max still is available on the graphite color, on the white color or silver color, still available on the Pacific Blue, and available on the gold color. So if you like those colors, get one. I do think that on the iPhone 12 Pros and 12 Pro Maxes lineup, the best color was this graphite. The Pacific Blue seems cool, but at the end of the day, it gets very tiring because it's just so dark. That's my opinion. Maybe you will think different. I bought the Pacific Blue, I used it for a year, and that's my opinion on it. Of course, the iPhone 12 Pro Max also, like I said, is thinner and has a smaller bump. So if you want to get cases for it, the iPhone 13 Pro and Pro Max's cases won't fit here, so be aware of that. You really need to buy cases made for the iPhone 12 Pro Max. That's a little quirk that Apple changed by changing a little bit the battery size and changing the camera bump size. The cases from the iPhone 12 Pro Max are not the same as the iPhone 13 Pro Max. So if you are buying this phone just because it can fit with the most recent accessories for the iPhone 13 Pro Max, be aware it doesn't fit. But one thing that it does fit, and it was introduced on this lineup, was MagSafe. MagSafe is insanely cool. I love MagSafe so much. And yes, the iPhone 12 Pro Max together with the iPhone 12 Pro, 12 and 12 mini were the first ones to introduce MagSafe, and these are an amazing technology to wireless charge your phone. I cannot tell you how many times I've put my phone on a wireless charger and I got it up during the morning and check it out, 0 battery life gained. So it didn't charge, and I was like, God damn it, the phone was very warm, the charger was very warm, and the phone did not charge, and I was pissed. So yes, this technology of MagSafe is just incredible, and this phone supports it. So if you are considering like, oh, the iPhone 12 Pro Max may be a little bit old now just because it doesn't have the most recent technologies, it does support MagSafe, and it's still an amazing phone with amazing cameras. These cameras that you are seeing here are the same cameras still present on the iPhone 13 and 13 mini. Besides the telephoto, because this is a Pro phone and those phones don't feature telephoto, but the ultra wide and wide are the same. And this one was the first phone capable of recording HDR video, I think, so it's a pretty big deal. And of course, in every single way, this phone has an amazing camera. I will talk about the camera later in this video, but to finish off the design talk, I do think that this design is still very modern. It's still the same as the iPhone 13 Pro Max, and even with the iPhone 14s, I don't think they will change that much. Maybe from the front, which, yes, the front changes. If you compare this front screen to the iPhone 13 Pro Max's screen, you will notice that the notch is smaller. But this notch is not as like deep, you know what I mean? It doesn't go as much further down the display like the iPhone 13 Pro Max do. So it's kind of a preference. I will put them side to side here for you to see, but I don't think that is a deal breaker for either of you. Like, if I didn't get that notch on the iPhone 13 Pro Max, I would still buy it. I don't really care about it. After 1 month of use, you won't notice the difference between that and your notch. I actually prefer this one just because it gives me a little bit more real estate down the display. But at the end of the day, you won't notice any difference in my opinion. So do as you will. So yes, this design feels still very modern and still pretty cool. Going back to the display, the iPhone 12 Pro Max features this amazing OLED 6.7 inch display. It's still 60 Hz though, so that's kind of a bummer. But this display is every single way amazing. The brightness is amazing, the color accuracy is amazing, it's so consistent. It's an amazing phone when displaying HDR pictures, video. It's very good. It's very, very good. Do not get me wrong, this display is one of the best on the market. But it features and lacks one of the most impressive and game changer things I've put on a device ever. The ProMotion technology. I've used it since my iPad Pro. I got it on my iPhone 13 Pro Max and then bought my MacBook Pro. And ever since, I cannot use every other device with it. Just because I use it and it feels like laggy, it feels weird to me. It doesn't feel like fluid, it doesn't feel fast, doesn't feel modern. It feels like old, obsolete technology. But for you people that don't notice ProMotion, which in my opinion and for my experience it's 90% of you, then this one will be just fine. You will love it so much. This display is so incredible, the colors are so insanely good that you will feel that you have the best display in the world. You don't have it, but you will feel like it. And this phone feels so many premium right now that if you do pick it up and use the display, you will feel like you have the amazing flagship for less money than the iPhone 13 Pro Max's display. Of course, this one is not as bright. The iPhone 13 Pro Max is around 1200 nits brightness, peak brightness, while this phone is 1000, and that phone is 1000 nits sustained, and this phone is 800. So this one has the same display as the most recent iPhone 13s, which is a little bit bigger. So I do think it's still an amazing display, and you will be so happy with it, and displays colors in an amazing way. It's very good. The only difference, like I was telling you, promotion and the notch, but still, for $850 to $900 with 256 gigabytes, this phone, for the display that it has, it's still an amazing deal, and I still do recommend it for 2022, and I'm almost 100% sure that it won't be obsolete when the iPhone 14 comes. So be aware that it doesn't have promotion when you are shopping with one, and be careful if you when they are selling you iPhone 13 Pro Maxes for iPhone 12 Pro Maxes, like they are saying, oh, it's an iPhone 13 Pro Max for $800. Be your eye out, because they are very difficult to distinguish to the naked eye if you are not trained, and you might end up buying a phone that is not as good as the iPhone 13 Pro Max. But in other way, this display is incredible. I do still recommend it in 2022. Then we have battery life. Battery life is, in my opinion, the third most important, or even the second, I don't know, debate with me that, most important feature on a phone. And yes, this phone feels it incredibly well. This phone passes the test of battery life amazingly well. Like, it's not as good as the iPhone 13 Pro Max, which is the best battery life ever on a phone, not like iPhone, on a phone ever. It's like just ridiculous, but this phone is still amazing too. For my mom, it lasts 2 days, and she doesn't use that phone, her phone like pretty much, but she does the normal stuff, browses Instagram, the web, does video calls, calls someone, texts, iMessage, so takes some photos, videos. It lasts her 2 days. And this phone is very good. When I used it for myself, it lasted me around 1.5 days. So if I used it very much, I could not kill it one day. Let's put it like that. It's like 2 hours of difference between that and the iPhone 13 Pro Max. So this battery life is still in the 5% of one of the best battery lives ever, and you will not regret it. Even if you buy a phone with 90%, it's still an amazing battery life. It will last you all day. So this battery life, it's an A+ in terms of score. It's an amazing. I will try to show you. This phone is 1.5 years, and it has, let me see, it has 100% of battery capacity. My mom actually takes care of this battery very well. She does not charge it every night, and so only when the phone goes down from 80 to 20 and actually downwards, when the phone is completely charged, is when she charges it. So it has optimized battery charging on, and 1.5 years, 100% of battery life. So yes, this phone is an amazing deal in terms of battery life, display, design. It's still an amazing option. It's, I think, way better than the iPhone 11 Pro Max, just because the design is the newest. It has MagSafe, which is very important. It has better video capturing, it has better cameras, it has a better ultra wide, it has a better telephoto, which is 2.5x. It has a better battery life than the iPhone 11 Pro Max, or at least the same battery life as the iPhone 11 Pro Max. And in terms of comparison with the iPhone 13 Pro Max, it only loses on the promotion capabilities and on the battery life. So again, small things that you probably won't care, and this is way cheaper than the iPhone 13 Pro Max, new or even used. So yes, battery life, this phone, it's an A+. Finally, we reach the cameras. Yes, I do think that the cameras on this phone are still amazing. They are not the best in 2022, but they are still amazing. In amazing lighting or good lighting, this phone is the same as the iPhone 13 Pro Max. You won't notice the difference on the naked eye. The only difference you will notice is the ultra-wide camera. The ultra-wide camera between these two phones might pick up a little bit of a difference, just because the iPhone 13 Pro Max has a wider camera in terms of, it has a bigger lens, so it can capture more light. So the information it's more information, so it's a better picture. Actually, it's closer to the wide camera than this phone, which if you are switching between the ultra-wide and the wide, you will notice a difference. But I mean, for the normal Joe out there, this camera is still the best. It's still like flagship performance. The video is insane for your social networks. You'll post best video out there. The 4K 60 on this phone, incredible, incredible. I feel so much of my videos with this phone that you probably don't know that. Before I bought my iPhone 13 Pro Max, this was my main camera between this and the iPhone 12 Pro. In my videos, from my recent videos, sometimes I film with this when I don't have battery on the iPhone 13 Pro Max, and I did not tell you, and you will probably not notice it. So yes, the 4K 60 with good lighting, studio lighting, this is an amazing video capabilities, amazing video camera, way better than other Android phones, way better than the S22 Ultra that I've tested out on my channel. And yes, these cameras are still insane. Like I was telling you, this is a 2.5x telephoto, and I mean, it's not as good as the 3x on my iPhone 13 Pro Max, but it does fall short on some things. For example, if you are comparing this 2.5x to a 2.0x, like a 2x telephoto, I do prefer the 2x just because it's a little bit better when cropping shots, but this phone is still amazing. I still like it a lot, and the camera here is still flagship performance. So if you do enjoy taking photos for social media, taking photos for Instagram, filming some stories, filming some videos for Instagram, I do think that this camera is still amazing, and for the money you are paying, it's still one of the best, not the best cameras out there. And yes, compared to the iPhone 13 Pro Max, it's worse, but it won't make that comparison. And I mean, the money that you are saving here, it's so much more that, I mean, for 90% of people, you won't need it. For me, I film my videos with my iPhone 13 Pro Max. I take a lot of photos for Instagram, Twitter. So yes, the iPhone 13 Pro Max is worth it. But that's because I'm a YouTuber. I film all my videos, and I do want to have the best amount of quality possible out of my iPhone to film my videos. Well, if you are a normal Joe, then this camera is way more enough for you. My mom loves this camera. She uses it a lot. It has a LiDAR camera, you can see, still like the iPhone 13 Pro Max. It doesn't do anything, but I mean, it's there if she wants to use it. It's an amazing camera. She loves it so much. The nighttime performance here is just incredible, and she has the fun of her life when using this camera. And of course, if you want to buy this camera for your mom, you want to buy this phone for your dad, you will be very happy, even for yourself. This camera, if you gave me this camera right now, I wouldn't be mad. I like it so much that I don't really care. If I wasn't a YouTuber, if I had this phone, I would really upgrade for the cameras. But like I film all my videos, I love cameras, and I did have the money to spare because it was a very good deal for me switching. I did. But yes, the cameras here are such an incredible deal still, and I do love it so much that I do still recommend the iPhone 12 Pro Max for everyone that wants to take amazing photos, amazing video on their phones. Finally, some final quirks and features that I do think is still worth mentioning is the fact that the speakers and the vibration motor here are still flagship performance, like they are the best in the business. They only fall short to the iPhone 13 Pro Max, which is the direct competitor and the newest model. But when compared to the flagship phones of Android, this beats them all. Yes, this beats them all. The speakers here are just insanely good. The microphone is insanely good. Everything on this phone feels amazing and feels very fast, feels incredible. The A14 chip here is just insane. Like, it's still the best chip out there, like, except the A15. There's no competition. Android and Snapdragon are still trying to catch up with the iPhone A13 chip, and this one has the A14. So if you get this phone, you will get 6, 7, 8 years of upgrades. Don't be worried about that. Do not care about that. The only difference that this phone has between this and the iPhone 13 Pro Max is when playing games, this phone gets a little bit warm. When I say warm, it's warm and makes the screen dim a bit. This was a problem in the iPhone 12 Pro Max that Apple fixed on the iPhone 13 Pro Max with the efficiency of the A15. But I mean, the A14 in terms of raw performance is like 15% less in CPU and 30% less in GPU. But you won't notice on the everyday, it's very still smooth, very opens up every single time, doesn't crash. The game's 60 FPS full on, and they are very fast, they are very cool. This phone performances is just insanely good, 8 years of software support, so don't be afraid with that. And that's why I think that you should buy the iPhone 12 Pro Max in 2022, just because the battery life is insane, the cameras are insane, the speakers are still flagship performance, the display lacks some features like 120Hz, but if you don't care about that, then it's a non-problem. Then the performance is just insane. You will get way more software supports than next year's Android flagships, and at the end of the day, you are paying $400, $300 less than the iPhone 13 Pro Max. You can find this one for a very good deal, $800. It's a very good deal for you. If you can find one, it's an amazing deal. And if you can wait 5-6 months, then it will be even less, because the iPhones devalue around $200 per iPhone launch. So when this iPhone first launched, it was at $1,100. Then the iPhone 13 Pro Max launched, and then you can find a very good condition iPhone 12 Pro Max for around $900. And when the iPhone 14 launches, then it will be around $700. So each year that passes, this phone devalues around $200. And another thing that I forgot to talk about is when buying used iPhones, you have to be in mind that you are paying around $800. Okay, but next year, if you want to sell it and upgrade, you will only lose around $50 to $100 because these phones hold up their value so much better than Android phones that it's almost like an investment. You won't lose that much money. It will cost you around $100 per year to own an iPhone. And these types of iPhones that are incredibly good, they were amazing models that didn't have that much problems like the iPhone 12 Pro Max, and they still have the amazing new design, then they will sell like hotcakes for the next several years, even on the used market. So I do still think that the iPhone 12 Pro Max is an amazing value, an amazing deal in 2022, and you should definitely buy it. Even after the iPhone 14 launches, this iPhone is still amazing value for the next several years, and I do recommend you getting one if you want to. And if you are looking for one, don't forget to check eBay, don't forget to check Apple refurbished stores, don't forget to check Amazon Renewed. Those are amazing options to get this phone. Well, leave in the comments down below if you do think that this phone is worth it on 2022. Do you have one? Let me know your experience with the iPhone 12 Pro Max in 2022. And do you want a comparison video now in 2022 between this phone and the iPhone 13 Pro Max? Let me know in the comments down below. And while you're there, do not forget to leave a like and subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it if you do. Follow my Twitter account. I post my tweets and my thoughts sometimes there. And of course, this was Tech Smart talking to you here. Bye.